Hey, what's up, good people? Welcome to another episode of Brandon's Comedy Bomb Show. I'm your host, Brandon Phillips. And today's guest, you've seen him on Cousins for Life. You've seen him on Insecure. Hilariously funny. Give it up for comedian Ron G.
Good to see you, bro.
For real. Good to see you, man. Thank you so much, man, for coming on the show. So look, man, we just gonna hop right into it. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna waste no time here on Brandon's Comedy Bomb Show. So first of all, where are you from, man? Where are you from?
I was born in Columbia, South Carolina, and I finished school and I moved to Atlanta, which is where I started doing comedy. And after that, I kind of figured my life out. Then I moved to Los Angeles, and that's where I reside at the moment.
Okay, cool. All right. So you started doing comedy in Atlanta, and how long now would you say you've been doing stand-up for?
Like at least 13 years, probably like 13 years. It's
Okay.
been good, bro. I live a great life. I do what I love. And my life's pretty amazing right now, even during quarantine.
That's what's up, man.
I cashed 3 checks today. I was pretty happy about that.
Come on, somebody. Come on,
3 checks.
somebody. Hey.
One of them was for $7, but I still cashed the check. It was what I made a deposit during quarantine.
Right. We're going to cash the check if it's 13 cents, okay? Sometimes the check costs more than it was to mail.
Right. It's a residual check.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that's dope. Okay, so you've been doing comedy about 13 years now.
Yep.
So, tell me, what was your most memorable bombing moment on stage doing comedy?
Jeez. All right, I got 2 memorable bombing moments. I'll keep it real short. The first one that comes to mind was I was doing warm up for the NAACP Awards. Okay. I think it was the year that Steve Harvey was hosting, and I'm in the room with all my celebrities. Like it's a black celebrity. Name it, they was in that room. I'm talking about Oprah, Lou Gossett Jr., John Lynch. Like everybody was in this room, bro. And they sent me out, and it was like, hey, tell a few jokes. Make sure everybody take their seats, no gum, turn your phone off, and go. And I think something happened backstage where they couldn't get it fixed. And I went out there, wasn't no DJ, wasn't no music. I went out there cold. And as soon as I went out there.
They didn't even announce you or nothing? They didn't even break?
They might have said, this nigga here. They was like, hey, this nigga here. Pushed me outside. They pushed me out on the stage. And all I know is when they went to a commercial break, everybody got up. Like nobody was in their seat. Now imagine you in a theater, getting ready to perform, and everybody just got up and started taking pictures with each other. And I can't tell Oprah to sit down and have a seat because we're filming. Like they don't want to hear that. And I literally got ignored by everybody in Hollywood in one moment. And it was the most embarrassing moment ever. Cause I'm like, yo, this is why people be on suicide watch. This don't feel good at all. It was uncomfortable. I was like, yo, this is stupid. But the most potent, most powerful bomb I've ever had, the bomb that was heard around the world, was my first time on stage. I went to a place called Uptown Comedy Club. My cousin was a comic in Atlanta. Shout out to Trey Black. He was a comic in Atlanta. He was doing it for like 3 years. And he's like, bro, you funny, man. Right. You ever thought about getting on stage? And I was like, sure, I'll do it. He's like, you should come Sunday night, Apollo night, Uptown Comedy Club. I'm like, that's nothing. I'll go. He gave me one joke. I'm like, I ain't gonna be up there long. He gave me one joke. And it was all dope dealers and strippers. And the energy, it felt like I was at, I can't even tell you what I thought, but it felt like. It was just a hostile environment. And
how many
everybody
people were in the comedy club? Was it packed?
Maybe 200, 300 people, but everybody before me got booed. I was like number 3. And the 2 people before me got booed. Like it was a solid boot. Like it's one of those like, ooh, I'm next? Okay, cool. Brought me up. I had my one joke. It was terrible. And while I'm on stage, I was like still setting up the first joke. Somebody was like, hey, nigga, kill yourself. I was like, okay.
Cool.
And then they started booing me. They started booing me. And then somebody threw a boot grenade. I didn't know what a boot grenade was. All I heard was like the whole back row was like, and I'm looking around like, what was that? No. And it was like, boo. And the boo was okay. But when they told me to kill myself, bro, that was I don't know. I wanted to disappear. It was one of those South Westerners like, want to get away?
right.
Want to get away? And I did, because the exit was right near the stage. And I was like, should I run out the door or sit here and take it? And so they turned some music on and they started playing this, I think Jeffrey Osborne. And he was like, I did my best, but my best wasn't good enough.
No,
they started playing the little siren, like the Apollo siren. And I was like, yo. And so the host came on. He was like, man, Ron G, you was terrible. They was like, boo. He's like, wow, y'all don't even like his name. He's like, Ron, boo, G, boo, Ron G, boo. And I'm sitting next to my cousin
Oh,
on the DJ booth right across from the stage. And everybody looked at me like, boo, like while I'm still sitting there. And I looked at my cousin like, man, like, this is it? And he was like, I don't know what to tell you, cousin. He bust out laughing. I think he booed me too. I'm like, this is
yo.
terrible. Then I'm walking to my car. It was over. And I'm walking to my car. I tried to leave a little early so I didn't catch none of that traffic. And this dude was like, hey, little nigga, you ain't gonna never be funny. And that was back when I used to curse. I was like, F you, nigga. He was like, F you, get you killed. And I put my head down and I went to the car and I was like, this don't feel good. But I know it sounds crazy, but that moment made me feel like, yo, I'm gonna figure this thing out. And I just fell in love with comedy. I said, I'm gonna figure this thing out. And less than probably 3 to 4 months later, I got on stage and I won. And like that was the beginning of me like changing and being like, once you've been booed before, there's nothing that can stop you. You know what I'm saying? So people not listening or being quiet, that don't bother me. So you're like, you can't kill me. I'm already dead. You know what I'm saying? Once you've been booed, but
like once you
boo
experience
changed my life.
Wow. So you did the joke, one joke. You
One
didn't
joke.
even
It was
have
terrible.
It's like normally you're like, okay, I'm gonna get them back on this next joke. You didn't even get that opportunity. It was just like one and done.
Once they smell blood, it don't matter what you do. I could have set myself on fire or start juggling babies. They wouldn't have cared nothing about my life and what I had to do. They didn't care nothing about that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was painful.
God.
It was painful.
So that just sound like they sound like a hostile crowd, like you said, to begin with. They were already booing the previous comedians. And they
came to boo. They left the trap to go boo.
Wow.
So we talking about dope dealer, strippers, and Hennessy. Like the whole room just smelled like Hennessy, broken dreams, and no father, and single parent sweat. And they came there. I feel like they came there specifically to boo me.
Oh my God. Yo, dang, bro. So it took you, I know you said you came back. So it took you, how long did it take you actually to get back?
Maybe a few months. It came a few months, but I started going to this other spot that was like kind of like a mixed crowd where they actually let you talk. And so again, when you start in a hostile crowd, Jerry Seinfeld had a great quote. He said, good crowds show you how to explore, bad crowds show you how to edit. So I'm going to places that let me talk and get it out. So when I went to the hood spots, I'm cutting all the fat automatically. I'm just getting right to the point.
Straight to the joke.
That's why when you see me perform, I'm rapid fire. I'm to the point. Ain't a lot of fat on my jokes. So I'm like, I got to get to it, because boo made me better.
That's wow. Yeah, no, and there's a difference that, like as comedians, we learn there's a difference between black crowds or black rooms and others.
No,
say that.
Black crowds are amazing. Hood crowds are different.
Right. True. Yes.
Black crowds are amazing and incredible. I love performing for my people. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a certain understanding where you make certain sounds and certain gestures and people just get it. You know what I'm saying? But
certain
hood rooms, it's like their own language. And you got to, I still feel like as a comic, you still got to at least know how to do them and still stay in tune with the hood, because that's a part of who we are. You know what I'm saying? Well, for me anyway. So it keeps me sharp. Right. So I don't mind.
Wow. Bro.
Now I don't mind. Before it was a problem.
Right. Jeez. Okay.
Matter of fact, the boo was so bad. I was working a 9 to 5 at the time. It would be Friday at my job. The show wasn't until Sunday night. I would be nervous Friday thinking about Sunday because I'm like, man, I'm getting off work and now I got 2 days to think about this boo that I'm about to get. Like, it was that bad.
How I'm about to take this L to the chest? Like,
I'm at work worrying about a boo. I'm on my lunch break worrying about a boo 2 days later. Like, it was that bad. I'm not even lying. Like, it was literally that bad. God. And I'm not even trying to be extra.
Wow. Hey, man. Wow, that's crazy.
That's why Atlanta comics are so dope, man. Because you taught in the fire. Like, I went to one place, they used to shake your keys. They shake keys. Everybody would pull their keys out and shake them when you start not doing well. One place had Nerf balls. They would pass out a bucket of Nerf balls and throw them at the crowd. If they didn't like you, they would play music at you. They would keep the TVs on at the sports bar and grill, the bistro. But I came up in that kind of environment. So now, again, unless you're doing all that, you can't stop what I'm doing.
Right. They got they got everything but a Sandman down there. down there to
the crackhead. Hey, it's time to go home. Wrap it up.
Right.
Wrap it up. You've done enough. You've done enough damage to yourself. You got $2.
Jeez. That's right. At least it wasn't, I mean, it's one of those things it was a packed crowd. It was a lot of people, but sometimes when it's that weird, awkward, when there's like 30 people in the room, sometimes that can be, you're like, man, I can see every single one of y'all in your eye and you still booing me right now. Like, I can see
Right.
every one of y'all. Like, so at least you're like, okay, it was a packed room. And again, it doesn't make that L any better to take, but dang, brother. Well, yo.
And one thing too, man, it's so weird. Like it was so packed on Sundays, you couldn't even stand and watch the comics bomb. So I'm around the corner listening to them bomb, and the comic would look at me like, hey, good luck. You know what I'm saying? So you don't really see the crowd until you get out there. So I walked in and I'm standing next to the stage, and they're like, hey, come on up, Ron G. And they brought me up. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. And then I went back to the same dugout after all the comics.
Man.
Because when you sit down, you're still in the way. I was like standing by the DJ booth, people walking by the DJ booth, and excuse me, while I'm getting booed. So I just felt like I was in the way the entire time. Like I was in everybody way just showing up.
You couldn't get out there fast enough. God, oh. Wow, yo, well, thank you, brother, for telling that.
No problem, bro.
That is brilliant. Thank you, man. So, yo, before we get out of here, I always like to close the show with just a couple questions I ask every comic. So, first question is, what important comic lesson would you tell your younger self if you could go back in time?
In that moment or in general?
Just in general, like if you go back in time and give yourself, tell yourself a good comic lesson.
What I would tell my younger self is that moment was necessary, so don't take it personal. And also always be a student of life. I feel like as a comic, sometimes we get so caught up in like trying to be the funniest, we forget to live. And when you forget to live, you don't have anything to draw from. So I did, I think like in 2010, I got College Comic of the Year, and I did over 100 colleges, and I made a lot of money, traveled all over the U.S., but my life fell apart because I wasn't living. I was just 3 days home. First day home, I'm unpacking, jet lag. Second day, I'm preparing to leave out. The next day, I was leaving out, and that was like for an entire 6 months to a year. Wow. And I just felt like my life fell apart, and I stopped living. And I was like, all my jokes were like jokes I was doing, but I just kept adding to them instead of like having current memories to like pull from and make material out of. So as a young comic, man, just always be a student of life and take in what's happening. I know sometimes we get comfortable and you get your hot 5 to 10 minute set and you want to keep doing that forever, but you got to evolve. Like even now, what's going on in this world, like you can't override that and be talking about bad breath jokes and fat people jokes. Like there's too much happening right now. So you got to be aware of what's happening and always, again, be a student of life and take in a lot. Like we don't have the luxury of being stale and stubborn. So, I watch Disney movies, I watch chick flicks, I watch action movies, I watch the news, and I'm on Twitter all the time, like researching topics so I can just take in stuff. Because I don't like being on stage and something happens and I not know what it means. You know what I'm saying? If there's a quote from social media or somebody's like, you about to lose your job.
Right.
You about like, or this is 22, pew, pew, pew. Like, I don't like not knowing stuff. So I take in everything. And then when I'm on stage, I always have somewhere to pull from. So as a young comic, make sure you're always being a student of life, studying yourself, making sure you're mentally healthy. If you need to go to therapy, sometimes therapy will help you unpack a lot of your comedy. And make sure you date too. Dating is very important in comedy because when you date, you kind of find out your flaws and your blind spots too, because your lady gonna tell you about yourself.
Right. Okay. All right, dope, man. This is the last question, which I feel like sometimes kind of segues naturally, and sometimes people are like, they'll just touch on it, the first question a little bit more, their first answer a little bit more. So if you had to leave one final piece of advice for the next generation of comics coming up, what would it be?
Study comedy, man. Just be a student of comedy. Like study and watch comedy. There will be a point where you can't watch because you don't want to take in anything on accident and think it's yours. But study people's styles and see what they do that works, and mannerisms, gestures, and like Patrice O'Neal, just studying him, watching him to be able to perform and do a lot of dark material, but he do it with a smile on his face and you love him when you're doing it. Or George Carlin, when you watch him talk about the system and white people, you like, yo, like his level of awareness is so dope. And our job as comics is to come up with orange juice. People hate medicine, but when you add, our job is making things funny and adding orange juice to the medicine where people can take it. And, sometimes you do a joke, it might not go over well. So you got to figure out what kind of orange juice can I add or how much orange juice I need to add so they can take this particular point, you know what I'm saying? Or you may have to be goofy at first and then transition to the heavy material. So, but again, if you're a student of the craft, you can learn how to do all those things.
Wow. That's dope. All right. Dope, man. That is really, really dope advice, yo. Man, yo, Ron G, brother, thank you so, so much, man, for coming on the show, man. I appreciate you,
No
brother.
problem, bro. Thank you for having me. I'm glad that you have a suede brick wall. Like, let me tell you something. The kind of money you got to make to have a fabricy brick wall.
It's velour.
It's Velux. It's Velux. It's made from a Sean John sweatsuit.
Right. Yo, before we get out of here, tell the people where they can find you and anything you got coming up to look out for you.
I might go outside on Tuesday, but as of right now, be sure to follow me, Comedian Ron G, on everything. Comedian RONG. Every Sunday, we're still doing Chocolate Sundays. If you haven't heard of it, it's the dopest, most diverse, longest running comedy show in the nation. We do a virtual version called Virtual Chocolate Sundays. I host that on Sundays at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, I have my own game show called Couples Couch. So every Thursday on my Instagram Live, Comedian Ron G, I do this really dope game show called Couples Couch, where if you're a brand new couple or you've been together for 20 plus years, make sure you join in, because you can find out if you work well together, if you know each other, if you even like each other. So me and my wife do that, and it's pretty dope, man. So tune in every Thursday, 7 p.m. Couples Couch.
Boom, there it is. Yo, thank you, man. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming in.
No problem, bro.
Just having a seat on the show, brother.
Hey, I'm jealous, man. I want to perform on that stage too. Maybe, hopefully, I won't bomb on that one.
You can borrow it anytime. You can borrow it anytime.
I'm in here trying to cook. Get off the stage. Later, bro. Thanks, man.
You got it, brother. Thank you.